Intellectual property rights is a complex legal topic, but it's important to understand IP if you want to protect your competitive edge. A lot of people don't even know what IP is or how they can protect it, but trust me, if you're not doing everything you can to safeguard your intellectual property rights, then you're leaving yourself open to a lot of risk. Hey there, I'm attorney Randi Karpinia, and in this video, I'm going to talk about something that's vitally important to any business owner: intellectual property rights. You might have heard the term intellectual property thrown around, but do you know what it actually is and why it matters? Coming up in this training, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about intellectual property rights and how IP can benefit you. If you're new to my channel, now would be a brilliant time to click the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications, so that you receive an alert every time I post a new episode of this first season of the series, The Top Secrets to Protecting Your Uniqueness, by Attorney Randi. And if you've missed any past episodes, no worries. Check them out in the same playlist. Now sit back and relax while I take you on a quick tour of the world of IP law.
So we're going to have we've been talking about uniqueness, but as I was putting this together, I realized I talk a lot about intellectual property, especially going forward. So we're going to take a quick stop, and I'm going to give you a brief lesson in what this thing called intellectual property is, just so I'm not talking some strange jargon. And some of you may know and some may not. So there's lots of types of intellectual property. Intellectual property is an intangible asset. So property like your real estate, your computer, your car is a tangible asset. Intellectual property is an intangible asset. So your brand, as Tammy talked about, we're trademarking hers. That brand is her intellectual property. It was her intellectual property with or without a registered trademark. Your content, things that you create, whether it's an ebook, a flow chart, a night, some handouts that you give to your clients. The moment you create your content, copyright protection is applied. You actually, in the US and many countries, you don't even need to register a copyright to be able to say that you are the owner of that copyright. Now, there's certain things like enforcement in court, actually litigating, that requires registration. So when I talk about content strategies and copyright strategies with my clients, and even for myself, I decide on the most important key content and I register that. But for everything else, as I'm going to teach you, I put notices on it. So I let people know I'm the owner, I'm the author, I'm the originator. And a lot of that you can do, that's your intellectual property, with or without actually registering it. The other thing I'll talk about just briefly is inventions, patents, designs. So if you come up with, I'm going to make this totally up on the fly. So you come up with a software that allows your clients to identify not only their symptoms, but maybe a recommendation of what they should do for them. I just made that up. So if it's totally wrong, just take it for it. There may be an invention in that software or in that methodology that should be protected by a patent. So don't always feel that because you're a coach, because the industry you're in, that patents are not something to consider. They are possibly, and they also are intangible assets. Now, the key to intellectual property, and again, it's always back to why do I care, is it increases the value of your company. Your intellectual property, whether you're looking for an investor or a loan, or you're going to sell your business, the value of your intellectual property is part of what all of those different kinds of groups look at. So they don't just look at your tangible assets or your client database, they also look at your intangible assets. It also gives you freedom to operate. If you own it, somebody else can't say it's theirs or come up with something similar and come after you, because you're always got the two sides, right? You want to protect your competitive advantage, but you also want to remove the risk of somebody coming after you. Very, very important to do both. And revenue generation is always in the back of our head. I don't really press that with my clients, but how many times have you seen a URL that is very, very popular and goes for thousands and thousands of dollars? So there is some, a side note licensing that could come from it.
Take a moment now to think about you and your business. What types of intellectual property are most important to your business? Drop a comment to this video and let me know. I'll respond to every single one. Coming up in the next episode, I'm going to teach you how to create a risk-free business culture of IP protection. That training is going to appear right here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, here's that link so you can do so. And get the alerts each time I drop a new video in this first season of the Top Secrets to Protecting Your Uniqueness by Attorney Randi. I'll see you in the next episode.